Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to share with you the week 1 update for my Bleed Perforate Gladiator. And I'm currently level 96 already with most of the stuff. Actually most of the stuff in my character build is like finished already. It's just that maybe I'm just going to do some minor tweaking and optimization to squeeze out the final juice out of this build, but otherwise the concept is pretty much complete. Okay, anyway, so this is my build. The concept is that I'm using a hybrid crit versus non-crit build, bleed build, whereby we use the normal non-crit version to apply the bleed. So just a normal bleed slam. I'm using Perforate because it has one of the highest multiplier for added damage, attack damage, which is 655. I think with regards to Earth Shatter's nerf, I believe it's much better now compared to Earth Shatter. And even though there's the quirkiness of the blade flying off with a gap in between, with Gladiator's exploit mods, the build can still clear without any of the jankiness. And the crit version, I'll be using rupture support, where it says here target takes 29% more damage bleeding per rupture on done, and then bleeding expires more quickly. So it turns your long bleed into a shorter but much more damaging bleed. And if you can see here, 29% per rupture. So since there's this skill can inflict, where does it state? It doesn't state the maximum stack, but the maximum stack is 4. So you can stack up to 4 rupture. So 29% times 4, that's more than 100% more damage. So you can effectively double your bleed slams. And we're using Lycos Day for your hits can't be evaded, and then to solve our accuracy problem, and then use increased critical strike support linked with Cyclone and Rupture, so to attack very fast in a single second to apply that multiple Rupture support. Even though our where is it? Even though our crit chance is only like almost 20%, I believe it's, well, from my playtesting, it's actually good enough already with that. Okay, so that's the essence of the build. It doesn't really, otherwise it's just a normal bleed slam build. And then I'm playing around maximum block, where we're using the Gladiator's Ascendancy, determine survivor for high block chance, and then more than skill for chance to block is lucky. And then from the POB, I believe my block is like, attack block is 89% and spell block is like 87%. I'll post you the POB just to be sure. And then I'm not really mitigating that much damage per se, but I'm applying as much slow application as possible from the build. This comes from number 1, Skitter Bots, which applies Chill Aura. And then we have Impressions, which has Temporal Chain, has no reservation if cast as an aura. And then we have here Eldritch Blasphemy, one of the new exceptional gem this week, where it applies Malignant Madness, which reduces damage and action speed by 10%. And there's also Maddening Presence here from the Impressions Amulet, which also applies reduce damage and action speed by 10%. I'm assuming they stack because they have different naming, Maddening Presence and Malignant Madness. And then finally Maim for reduce movement speed. So with all that slowing effect stacked together, it can effectively crowd control the enemy, so that the enemies doesn't attack you as much, so that it doesn't go through your block as much as possible. Because when you have 89% spell attack block, the enemy would need to hit multiple times for any attacks to go through. So the concept is that we're reducing the number of attacks or spells that we receive from the enemy to increase our tankiness. So that's not really reflected properly inside the POB. It's just that they don't attack and cast spell on us that much, making the build much more tankier compared to what's stated inside the POB. And then we have because we're not taking Jagged Technique for bleeding you inflict is aggravated. Instead, we're taking War of Attrition for more damage, because our build is tanky but not really that high in damage. I believe even at maximum bleed, it's only like 20 mil DPS at 100 second War of Attrition, but the normal bleed you can expect around 10 million DPS. Well, at least from my current build character anyway. So we use Tempest Rising, where it says here you and enemies in your presence count as moving while affected by elemental ailment. So it pairs really nicely with Summon Skitterbot, because we always passively apply Summon Skitterbot and consistently. So all of the bleeding that we inflict is aggravated. And I have to say, the double impressions from the build is really nice, because I'm not sure all of you are aware, there's actually two different versions of impressions. The normal version, which only applies one Blasphemy Aura, and then the second version, which applies a second aura that can be rolled among 4 or 5 other curses, and Temporal Chain is one of them. So yeah, this is my first time playing with the unique, so I think it's quite nice. And it pairs especially well with Pride stacking, because with Pride you want to have things like increased area effect of aura skills, and this works together with Pride to apply that Pride more damage multiplier, as well as the ones from Blasphemy, or in this case Eldritch Blasphemy. And yeah, that's pretty much the concept of the build. And we do have good endurance charge and frenzy charge generation, so we're capped at both. We're almost consistently up for both of them, so long as we receive the block. And then we also have Fortify here. I didn't take Deadly Ailment because I want to have some sort of leech as well as some manner of fortification, so we're even more tanky. So from the passive damage reduction, we have endurance charge, we have fortification, we have some form of armor. Armor is like around 24,000 when with all flasks up. And then we have these two, Malignant Madness and Maddening Presence. So that applies, this one and this one, Malignant Madness and Maddening Presence. That applies 10% less damage taken. So less damage taken from that, less damage taken from fortification, less damage taken from endurance charge, and then some armor with Molten Shell on top of the block. So the build is like very tanky. I didn't die much on my way to 96. I did die a little bit before I had the what do you call it, my defensive setup established. But other than that, yeah, it's been quite a smooth league starter for me. Okay, so I'll just show you a short gameplay video now. Okay, so let's take this tier 16 map right here. I'm currently doing some bossing, but not destructive play here. Yeah, inside City Square. I think I should do the Guardian or Shaper's version, but whatever. I'm not really farming that at the moment. So Eater of World and some ambush scarab strategy. I'll show you how the build plays, because one thing I realized from 3.28, the mob density is very high. So I think having this very tanky build to play is quite nice. So the gameplay loop is pretty simple. You slam, and then you cyclone, and once your Fist of War is up again, you slam again. That's pretty much it. How you handle yourself when playing this character. I mean, it's not really the fastest build, but it clears pretty nice part of the reason is because the exploding mods, and then we have Light of Meaning, increased physical damage that stacks a lot of nodes over here. So I think our exploding mods have like, I don't know, maybe 300%, 400 increased physical damage. So it scales really well. And then when you meet tougher enemy, you can put down your war banner, and that's pretty much it. Going to do Legion. Let's do this.
Choose what you wish.
More gold, more divination. Okay, I'll take more divination card. Thank you. Wait.
Choose what you wish. Do what you must, Jingak.
So
Countless generations
Mirage
have
Showcase.
walked time-worn stones.
There you can see, I can just jump into mob packs and then literally don't even have to slam. I can just cyclone my way. I mean, it's not really that fast because sometimes some mobs are tanky, but the explosion would generally clear the mob packs. See? No slam, just pure cyclone. But of course, the better way to play it is jump, slam, cyclone, slam. And because of the build's tankiness, like, you can generally stay in the face of the enemy at very close range, and then use cyclone to apply rupture, and at the same time evade enemy attacks by circling around them. That's pretty much it for the gameplay showcase. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about my gear, gems, and passive tree. Okay, so I mean, I don't know. I don't think I did pretty much anything exceptional for this build. Take note, I haven't fully optimized it inside POB yet, so it's just based on gut feeling most of the time. And what? Okay, so I'm taking unwavering stance, very important. Cannot evade enemy attacks. And then we have fortification, very important to have our fortification up all the time. And do not use deadly ailment because we don't want to have our hits be very weak, such that our fortify stacks will not go up. And we have very important, we need Unbound Ailment for this build because we want to have the increased duration of ailment inflicted with supported skill. So we want to have that's part of the reason why I'm using Temporal Chain also. This is because Rupture applies bleeding expires 25% more quickly, and at 4 stacks it applies 100% more quickly per rupture. So it basically reduces the duration of your bleed by half, which is not bad. I think the build has around 2.5-ish second at 4 stacks of rupture for bleed, which pairs very nicely with that perforate and cyclone rupture 1-2 combo. The 2.5 second timing, but you need unbound ailment for that, and multiple stacks of increased duration of ailment on enemies. And then we have here Lethal Pride, that has increased physical damage, increased physical damage, increased physical damage, strength, life. So yeah, just high amount of increased physical damage. And then Light of Meaning for increased physical damage again, with all these nodes over here. Yeah, that's pretty much it from the passive skill tree. And also block chance. And these two nodes are very important, so that it allows our build to gain endurance charge and frenzy charge. And with lucky block, that's almost up all the time. Okay, and then our gear. Shield Lycos today, I actually wanted to play with Azadi Crest, which has lucky rolls triple, but somehow I don't know, I don't really feel I need it, because even with current lucky block, I think the build is tanky enough with all that slow stacks of application. Then for weapon, we want River X. You can use for leveling, you can use for early mapping, you can use Jack the X, but for endgame you want a base with Jack the X, River X, with as much physical damage as possible. And it's not really that hard to craft here. I just took a 28 quality River X on the market and then spam Essence of Contempt, and then luckily I hit Empress, which is T2. I think it was T2 hybrid, and then I multi-mod it to craft the rest, and then slam it with Warlock Slam. But I got the physical attack damage while dual wielding, which is a miss for this build, but it's still very strong because the physical damage of this axe is 225 up until 582. So per hit is very, very strong. You don't even need attack speed and critical strike chance on this axe, as you can see from the gameplay video. And then our rings is something that we use for life and resistances, and then some intelligence roll over here. Belt, Rislata's coil, so pretty much standard for bleed build for damage. Impressions is double aura. We want vulnerability and temporal chain, and you need to anoint Whispers of Doom for both to work, because otherwise only one aura will work. So yeah, can be quite expensive to anoint Whispers of Doom. And then for boots, Tempest Rising, we want to have that you and enemies count as moving while affected by elemental elements. So I already explained it earlier in the video. And then as high roll as possible for that increased duration of ailment, and damaging ailment deals damage faster. So our glove, we have implicit exited attacks plus physical damage over time multiplier, because we're currently using Seismic Cry on auto exit. So wait, let me show you. Where is it? Seismic Cry. Oh, okay, sorry, I forgot. Warcry doesn't work in hideout. Anyway, helmet, we're using Surplus Penance, which gives us the two important things is the three important things is plus 4 damage to overtime multiplier per frenzy charge. Bleeding you inflict deals damage faster, and then chance to gain frenzy charge on critical strike at close range, which pairs well with the cyclone plus rupture support. It's another way to gain our frenzy charge. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the gear. For the skill tree, I'll post the POB later, so I'm not going to talk much about the skill. It's just Perforate, Lip Slam and Cyclone, and all of the aura reserve on the build. And yeah, I mean, at 96 and with all of this already on the build, I have to say it's generally pretty much complete. It's just that I need maybe just a little bit more to go through my POB and then find a way to squeeze out more DPS, but it's not going to differ much, and perhaps I'm going to do the build guide and then move on to my next build. Anyway, that's it. If you have any question, as usual, please feel free to post them in the comment section down below. But otherwise, that's pretty much for the build. Thank you. See you guys later.